Today I'm going to show you why tee height really matters and why, even though you probably know some of this information from my mega study I've done with the team at JD Golf Academy, you are going to be as surprised as we were when we looked at the data from everyday golfers changing their tee height. If you've ever wondered why, I've watched the videos, people say tee it like this, tee it like that for extra 20 yards, but it doesn't work for you. I have found the answer to why that is happening, and I'm going to share it with you today. Last tip today, the big reveal. Honestly, it shocked us. I think it's going to shock you. Remember, if you find the information in today's video useful, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, really helps. Come on, smash that like button for me. And a question, I want to know, do you tee your driver up high, medium or low? In the comments, let me know. So the first thing we looked at in our study, with a mixture of different handicaps and abilities, is clubhead speed. Did a higher tee to a medium tee to a lower tee influence clubhead speed? And we saw a slight increase in most cases in clubhead speed from the higher tee to the lower tee. You'll see why this happens as the video goes on, but interesting to watch how that higher tee gave people maybe a little bit more freedom of movement, a bit more space to move to increase that speed, which is why the extra 20 yards is on the table when it comes to the higher tee. To get the most out of that extra speed from the low tee to the high tee, great place to start is in your lead foot. So on the downswing, you want to feel like you're really pushing into that lead foot as early as you can in that downswing, because you want to get that energy out into the ball. Now, to do this, a great little trigger would be to lift your lead heel on that backswing. I'm not talking straight up in the air, but just a tiny lift of this heel as you go back will allow you to really feel that pressure in that ball and those toes of your feet. You want to push that energy this way, so out towards just in front of the ball, and then in turn that ground's going to push you back, which is where you're going to get that better turn and ups to get the better speed out of the high tee to the low tee. And then in contrast, if I hit the low tee here, I'm not going to push as hard. I'm actually going to stay in lead foot, stay down for that ball, play that low tee. That's going to be shorter, play a different shape compared to the high tee, where I'm really going to feel on this backswing that I'm really pushing into this lead foot a lot more. Play that shot, boom. Oh yes, that is longer, and they were different shapes as well. Great way to trigger that feel. The next thing we looked at in the study with the team from JD Golf Academy was angle of attack. So if the club is passing up more to get that ball on the higher tee, when it's on the lower tee, does it pass down more? And we saw, again, in most cases, the higher tee encouraged more of an upward angle of attack. It moved the angle of attack from the lower tee to the higher tee, and often for golfers from their standard tee to the higher tee, you would see a difference in how they attacked the golf ball. Hitting more up, again, opens that door for that 20 yards with the speed. If you can maximize your angle of attack with other factors that you'll get to and learn through this video as it goes on, you're going to maximize your driving distance. But again, like speed, not everybody change their angle of attack. Two great useful tips for trying to get that angle of attack working for you from the higher tee. Number one, I want you to connect your hands and the grip end to your trail pocket. And what I mean by this is I want you to feel like you get your hands in a downswing, basically down level with your trail pocket. Then from here, feel like your hands are going up and left. So from here, they feel like they're going up and left around you. One of the big faults we see is golfers hanging on to this angle, trying to really think lag is the answer. That keeps the club up in the air, gets the hands low. When the hands get low, they need to start coming up, and there isn't enough time to get the club to the ground before it hits the ball, so it hits on the way down. Where if you are quicker in getting that club down to the ground, so more near trail pocket, from here you can literally just extend your body and turn through, because believe it or not, on the downswing and into impact, even when you think you see shaft lean, your hand's connected to this trail pocket as it comes through. It's not going to cross your body like it looks from a 2D camera. Now, if that doesn't do enough, grab a head cover and just push that feeling on a little bit more. Put it 2 size 9 feet in front of you. People often put this head cover too close. Doesn't need to be massively in the air, and get the feeling of connecting hands to trail pocket, connecting with that ball, and then moving above that head cover on the way through. If you're someone who does want to leave that club up in the air and you feel like you have to tee it low to get it, you're going to come through and you are going to connect very close with that head cover. Me personally, when I do this with students, it's the practice swing next to the ball, missing the head cover, connect the trail pocket, extend up and get that head cover missed on the way through. Then I ask them to move it because we want a real swing happening when the ball's there and applying that feeling. We see different changes in angle of attack, better distance, better strikes. Oh, lovely drives like that. Get on. Delivered loft. So the loft at delivery, we saw more loft with the higher tee and less loft with the lower tee, which we would expect. But what really showed through when we talked to the different abilities of players who did the test is how this can be really used as a skill. So the tee height, then in turn how it changes the loft you deliver when out on the golf course in different situations. Ball on the left, low tee compared to the high tee. This is a very tight golf hole that shapes round to the left. Low tee is slightly shorter, so on this tighter hole I don't want to go too much round the corner. I'm going to aim up the left and play the shape that the low tee dictates, a little cut into the middle right and a little bit leaked, but it won't be long enough to reach the trees. The high tee here, I'm feeling like I might try and bomb it. It's giving me that extra speed. It's changing my angle of attack, changes to path, changes to the way golfers are swinging the club. Gonna hit this one harder and try and boss this hole, take it right up there, left side and chase it up. That's a little wedge in. I'm gonna use these heights. Good players are using different tee heights. You need to start doing it too. It's a massive weapon in your game for good driving. Now, this was a huge surprise for all of us. Not as big as the end surprise, which is coming, but this one really did shock us. We saw an increase in most cases in body rotation, specifically in pelvis, so hip rotation, which kind of goes inside with those other ideas we've just spoke about. But that wasn't on the table. I was not expecting that to be something that would change. But again, we really did see in most cases, and you'll see why that statement is so important as we get to the last tip, which is, it just blew us away. But being more active with your body in the downswing and through into impact, you could really see why the 20 yards, again, totally on the table if you can use a higher tee compared to a lower tee and get everything in place. Push that rotation a little bit more. Really simple tip you can use to help you make sure that you are getting what we see from those players from that high tee where they want to open up. This is obviously helping them get up and through the ball. Is try and get your shirt buttons to chase the ball, literally chase the ball. So backswing, I'm going to turn and my shirt buttons go back here. I'm going to bring them down. I'm going to try and time shirt buttons up to around impact. Obviously the ball's going to come off super fast and I'm going to try and chase that ball with my shirt buttons. It gives you a great feeling of rotation on the way through, making sure that you get not too much too early, which is common because you're trying to line shirt buttons up with impact. It's the chase afterwards, which you'll actually start doing from about here, which is what we want. So it's this kind of delay in turn to then really trying to turn to chase that ball with your shirt buttons. Because we see this from so many good players, the classic position is where we get this one on the way through where you're almost kind of pulling the grip off this way. So as the club is flying out, your body and your hands and arms are pulling back on the club, basically to get control as it comes around the corner. And if you think about that, that is basically your shirt buttons and the button of the club all marrying up. Really feel that you turn shirt buttons to the ball, and then as you're coming in to hit, really give that forward chase with your shirt buttons in your chest. It's going to just push those rotations on a little bit more for those of you out there not increasing that rotation enough. Another big change we've seen, which we've kind of already mentioned already, but we're going to call this loft difference. So this is the difference between loft delivered compared to loft at the beginning, so where they started. And what we really noticed is an increase between 5 and 10 degrees in loft difference from where they set up to where they deliver. Again, really making us see that they couldn't really kind of change the ideas of angle of attack and loft and how they really need to be separate thoughts, which hopefully this tip will help you see. For those of you who are maybe adding when you hit the higher tee too much loft because of the increase in loft, which is then shortening you. So you go for higher tee and you think, well, it doesn't go longer for me, it goes shorter. You're probably not that good at controlling dynamic loft while the club is coming up more to hit that ball, which means you need to be able to separate angle of attack. So club coming up, coming down, and the loft. They're separate movements. Easiest drill to feel that. I want you to move into last parallel on the way down. So feel like you've just shifted across, bring your hands down by trail pocket. And what I want you to do is just move into this position, turn the face to the ground. So I'm just turning my wrist, turning the club down to the ground, and then just try and hit it from there off your higher tee. What we're going to see, angle of attack is 4 up, launch angle was 6. It actually didn't get dynamic loft there because I turned so much off. Now doing this, remember, from the high tee, you've still got that angle of attack improvement. Same idea, move into last parallel. Now just turn the face up to the sky and turn through. You can see high rights, very common shot. Dynamic loft is 17, angle of attack is up, launch at 15 degrees. So you can control loft by trying to achieve last parallel, taking loft off or adding loft while still trying to hit from that high tee. And the more you get into the habit of hitting from adding loads of loft, turning face to the sky, taking loads off, finding somewhere in between, the better you're going to get at disassociating loft with angle of attack. So when you do get your higher tees, you got your better chance of hitting those bombs you want to hit. And often the big question with this, yes, but where's right? There is no right. You're all going to hit a different position in last parallel. Some of you are going to require more turn down, subject to club path. Some of you are going to require less turn down, subject to club paths, where the club is coming from. It has to blend into everything, which is why you need to learn the skill of using all those angles, comfortably controlling all of them to find that middle ground. That's where the real skill lays. Remember to like and subscribe if you're not already. Subscribe to the channel for free videos. Like the video if you can. It really helps the channel out. Now the big reveal. This one was so noticeable. The players in the test with the higher clubhead speeds naturally made more of the changes I've just said above. They got these things into place just by changing tee height, not telling them anything, not asking them to do anything, literally just changing the tee height. They rotated more, they hit up on it more, they increased the speed more, they reacted more to the tee height. The lower speeded players, which in turn were also the higher handicap players, they didn't always adjust. If they adjusted one or two of the things, they never adjusted all of them. Which is the reason why when you watch tee it higher, hit it further videos, you try that and it doesn't help. You have to be doing all those tips prior on in the video if you're someone who is not changing to tee height, which we noticeably saw from different abilities of golfers. We can relate that to clubhead speed, but that really related to their indexes, their handicaps as well. And that's something we see on Arcos data, where slower golfers generally have higher handicaps and faster golfers generally have lower handicaps. And I know there's outliers in those as well, but the lesser skilled golfer, however we want to define it, was not as able to adapt to the ball on different heights. Think about what that means when you're out there playing on the grass as well with your iron play. If you are not adapting to different heights with the driver and your safety zone when the ball's off the ground, how good are you adapting on different lies, and when the ball's above your feet, below your feet, down your lies, all those kind of things? Again, you're probably going to see in those cases more skilled golfers handle it, less skilled golfers don't. Meaning, if you want to get the benefits of this video, you need to practice all those tips that have gone before to make sure you get those benefits of the high tee to the low tee. 20 yards is on the table. It totally is. But it's not just the tee. Everything else has to fall in place. Now, if you want to find out how far you should be hitting your driver to your ability and your age, this video here will tell you everything you need to know.